and welcome to AutoSave. My name is Camille Salazar-Hadaway, and I'm here with my co-host, Mr. Nick Andrade. Hello, Nick.
It's dark right now. I need to put a light on. This is the latest we've ever recorded.
It is. We are usually I wouldn't say early owls, but early for gamers hours. And we're recording late at night. This is the time where we should be hopping on to game. But I mean, you know what? Being here on AutoSave with you, I think is good enough.
I've never heard the term morning owl before.
Oh, yeah. I meant
usually it's early bird and a night owl.
Early bird. See, I'm not an early bird, so I don't even know the terms.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah, I know. We'll figure it out. I mean, we'll have lots of episodes in the future to figure that one out. But today, we are going to continue our journey in Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Last time on AutoSave,
the time's come. This may be the last you see of me. I can sense the doom of the Jedi Order is upon us. No! Failure is not the end. It is a necessary part of the path. Hope will always survive in those who continue to fight. Like you, BD-1. I believe you will find someone just as brave and persistent as you have been. And you will help them as you have helped me.
we visited the snowy planet where kyber crystals are, and Cal was on a journey to repair his broken lightsaber. But was it really broken, or is he creating a new one? Because, you know, the whole thing, he got pieces together. Anyways, he's trying to get a lightsaber. And it's been proven difficult for Cal through all the puzzle solving, but also emotionally, because Cal's navigating all these different emotions, you know, losing his fellow Jedi, losing his master, now being hunted down by the Empire, and now also trying to find, a way to bring back the Jedi Order. So there's a lot that he was going through, and he really needed to navigate that all in order to be able to find a kyber crystal that kind of chose him. And there's a really great moment where Cal came to his own. We also realized that, you know, he was not only able to repair his lightsaber, but he's also surrounded by a good group of friends. And I think they kind of helped him get to that point of like self-realization of really coming, you know, to his own. By the way, we also found that BD-1 voluntarily wiped his memories in order to help someone who turned out to be Cal save the Jedi Order, which, I mean,
yeah,
I wanted to grab some tissues. It was really a teary-eye moment. And now we are going into battle because we're heading into Kujet's tomb on Dathomir to retrieve the Astrium, which is the stone that will help us gain access to the Sacred Vault on Bogano. So we're getting close to the end of our journey, Nick. You're laughing because it just seems like we're going and going and going.
No, it just seems it's like, okay, we need to find an Astrium, which, you know, Cordova has been talking so much about. But then he was telling us that he didn't need the Astrium, but we need the Astrium, but we don't need the Astrium. Now we're going to get the Astrium to open another tomb, I guess, in order to find an actual Jedi holocron. So there's a lot of items.
Yeah, there's a lot of running all over the place and back to the same places that you've just been,
which is fine.
And like I said, I mean, it's fine. I mean, we're going back to Dathomir. You were very excited to see Dathomir the first time around. We'll get into how it is this time around. But first, I want to talk about the idea of space misfits, you know, finding a team that comes together, usually in space-like adventures. But I feel like a lot of adventure type stories have like a really good team that represents different members. You have the funny one, you have like maybe the more serious person. So to you, Nick, I'm going to ask the question, what team members do you need to really make a good, enjoyable, and an entertaining Space Misfits team? And you know what? We're not going to even limit it to space. You could also bring in any other, if you want to compare it to any other type of movie or group that is not taking place in space.
Okay.
So yeah, what kind of members do you need? Like, do you need the funny one? Do you need two funny ones?
So first of all, space misfits or just a misfit gang in general they have to be people who you maybe wouldn't believe could pull something off. Or they do each have their own kind of strength, but they need to find that strength out along their journey. And especially with misfits, I would say they have to not get along properly. It's got to be like right away or off the bat they don't get along, but then they slowly start to love each other. I think that's
kind of like what's happening here with Cal and the crew of the Mantis.
So I think an important character of part of this misfit team is the hard ass. Okay, is always needing to do something or buy the book, or is always trying to get his people in line or her people in line. And then to contrast that is the goofball, the one who is la-di-da, laissez-faire, goes with the waves, who is just like, come on, man, like, let's just ride the waves.
Come on, man,
out.
let's just enjoy.
Yes, and so they always have that constant battle, and those two are probably like the closest to the leaders, and they're always constantly like fighting each other.
But they're always like the best friends too.
Yes.
Like they sometimes show that they don't like each other, but they're best friends. I would even say with like, if we're looking OG Star Wars crew, right? We have Han Solo, we have Luke, we have Leia, we have 3CPO and R2D2. I feel like of that group, Luke is probably not the hard ass because he's kind of like more neutral. I would say Leia is more the hard ass. And to contrast, you have your Han Solo,
who's the bad boy, but also, yes, like, come on, princess, like, everything's going to be okay, kind of type of thing.
Yeah.
Then you have the geek, who is like C-3PO, right? The kind of like nerd know-it-all. And then I don't really know. Like, I guess like the funny one, like you said, like there's someone who's who cracks all the jokes.
Yeah, R2. Well, that would also, I think R2D2, but we don't know what R2's saying.
Yes, but it's always funny. And then to top it all off, I think Luke falls into the neutral phase, which is he's a likable character. There's got to be like the normal one that kind of
in Misfit Land
that is the audience, if that makes sense. Like he or she
like
is
the audience could see
the smart one, the observant one, and maybe like someone who really gets reality a little bit. You know what I mean? Who's kind of like just even keel. I think that rounds up the team of misfits.
The team of misfits. And if you even look at like other properties like Guardians of the Galaxy, I feel like we drew a lot of comparisons early on in Fallen Order to the game because we played that previously as well. You have that as well. You have Gamora, who's more of the neutral, like you could see yourself in Gamora. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Oh, really?
But I feel like you could see yourself because she's like not.
I thought she was,
but she's also straight. Yeah, she's also like the hard ass. But then I would say is Drax also the hard ass? You know what I mean? Because like he was more like early Drax. Okay, we're talking about like first Drax, Guardians. Movie, right? I feel like Drax was the hard ass. He wouldn't say anything. Gamora was more than like, yes, she had her own agenda, but she was still very much that character you could more understand her characterization because it wasn't too outlandish. It wasn't too far one way or the other. Obviously, Racket is that comedic relief character, which reminds me of Grease. I feel like Grease also is the comedic relief for Fallen Order as well.
Slash always like grumpy, right? Grumpy.
Yes. Too. And then Star-Lord, I feel like is more the whatever, we got this.
Seems like Han Solo type for sure.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
Dumber, I think, right? Dumber.
You also need the cute character though. Groot is the cute character for Guardians.
Yes.
And then here we have BD1. Right? Who would be the cute character for the original?
I think it would be Star Wars. Or sorry, I think it would be the Star Wars. I meant R2D2. I think is also the cute one. He is the comic or it. I don't even really know what R2D2 is, but the comic relief. but also the cute one per se.
Because of the sounds R2D2 makes is very like cutesy.
Right.
Oh, that's a good one. So then now, we mentioned Grease as being the, grumpy comedic relief. How would we characterize the other members of the Mantis? Because I find it's a little bit harder with this group.
Sear seems like the Debbie Downer type. She's always just, Cal, you need Cal.
So she's the hard ass.
No, I don't even say she's the hard ass because, yes, she's the hard ass. Yeah, she's the hard ass. But I feel like she's way more of a Debbie Downer than most characters. She's always too serious. Like, she needs to, even Cal has fun. I think she needs to, lighten up a bit sometimes. That's all.
She needs to lighten up. I feel like we're also missing a few more characters. Like, we have the cutes characters with BD1. We have the character we could more relate to with Cal. We don't have that easygoing character. Mantis also, I feel like, is that easygoing character for Guardians. But, we don't have that easygoing character. So we'll have to see. I know we're nearing the end, but we'll have to see if the Mantis may get a few members or so.
Also, quickly, speaking of Mantis, our ship is called the Mantis.
I know. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. Coincidence or not?
Probably not. It's just a cool name.
Yeah.
But yes, we are continuing our journey in Jedi Fallen Order, and we are going back to Dathomir.
You did it.
We did. I wouldn't be here without all of you. I used to sit on Braca dreaming about storming Coruscant with survivors from the Jedi Council. Instead, the Order's hopes rest on a gambler, a fallen Jedi, and a failed Padawan. A bunch of screw-ups.
You can say that again.
BD's the only reliable one. He let Cordova wipe his memory so he could stay behind and guide us. But you're both willing to sacrifice everything. To keep going even when it seems impossible.
Failure's a part of the journey.
I get that now. Thank you. All of you.
Oh, guys. So obviously they are feeling really nice coming back to Dathomir because they had this moment of bonding. But now it is back to the action. Dathomir. We've been here before, and we are going to continue our journey trying to actually reach the Astrium, as I mentioned before. When you land on Dathomir, luckily for us, there is no creepy, mysterious man in a cape. Thank goodness, because that was sketchy AF. But instead, the game is going to kind of meet and greet us with a few enemies along the way. You're going to have the Undead Sisters as you make your way towards the tomb. And they're going to make it a little bit harder for you because we encounter a bounty hunter at the entrance of the tomb. Nick,
Yes.
I was super annoyed. I was like, I just got here. Dathomir, I just got here. And we're having this mini boss fight. How did you find this?
I think there was one on Kashyyyk that annoyed me. You see these bounty hunters once in a while. And at first, I think because the first one I fought after they kidnapped us the first time, I thought maybe they would kidnap us again, but they don't, because we can actually kill them. I feel bad saying that, but yes.
Die.
but
Sorry.
After the first one, I thought, okay, this is actually kind of fun in terms of I'm fine fighting these guys, especially since at this point my Cal character is really strong and I feel like I can beat anybody. But it is fun to know. I do like this aspect where the developers put this in terms of Cal is being hunted. People know that Cal is a Jedi right now. He is kind of out in the open. There's been whispers about him, whatever. So clearly there are bounty hunters that are trying to capture him for a bounty. And so I do like that aspect that they're sprinkled around the galaxy or the galaxies all over that we can fight, because I think that's a realistic aspect. If there was a Jedi, yes, the Inquisitors are after us, but also you would think that bounty hunters would be after us as well, and they are. So Thumbs up from Nicholas.
Yeah. Actually, thumbs up from Nicholas, and also thumbs up to Nicholas, because that's a good point. I actually wish we've seen more bounty hunters, because I feel like the Empire uses them all the time. Why aren't more of them coming after Cal if we're like the number one on the hit list? You know what I mean?
Especially with the amount of stormtroopers we face, I think they can like balance that out a bit.
Yeah.
Where they give us a little bit more bounty hunters. That would be cool if there's like a cutscene, like from Empire Strikes Back, where you like see all those bounty hunters, and then like maybe an Inquisitor is like, find Cal Kestis or something like that.
Oh, that'd be cool. It'd just be cool, like coming into a crowd of stormtroopers and you see like a bounty hunter flying around. Like it just adds a little bit more variety in the gameplay.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, we didn't get that before as much as we want to, but we're getting it now. So for this battle to fight off Bagong, think about these names. Interesting. You want to really focus on the bot first, so the Revector, because when you do this, are you laughing at these names?
No, I'm laughing at the names that we have rundowns every time we write down what these things are, and it says focus on the Revector, Bagong first, and then you'll defeat Bing. It just sounds so vague. Kill Bagong and then defeat Bing, and then you'll destroy the bounty.
If you do this, you'll also be able to, like, that just sounds like these are sounds within a music, like a song or something like that. Badang bing, Revector. But yeah, you want to focus on the bot first, defeat that, because the bounty hunter will be flying around. So they're going to keep doing that if the bot's there. So defeat the bot, go for the bounty hunter. How did you find this mini boss fight? I'm not going to say Bing, because you're just going to laugh again.
Bong. Bing bong.
Bing bong.
It's pretty easy now at this point. Again, like I felt like the bounty hunters were more difficult before, but this really shows not only the skills that you've unlocked, but I think Cal growing as a character, where these fights become easier for him as well, where he's not so foolish and getting captured. And it shows. So easy peas for me.
I will say what is foolish on the Revector's side, Bagong, the ego Bagong has. Excuse me, the whole time you're like kicking this bot's butt, okay?
I know.
And this bot's like, you're nothing compared to me. Ha ha ha. Like, what was up with that?
We have 3 lightsabers right now, okay? We have pretty much 3 lightsabers, so you better watch out. Okay? That's all I'm saying.
Someone needs to program some fear into these bots. That's what I want to see. I want some fear.
Exactly. We're a Jedi. Don't you forget it.
We're Jedi. But we continue through.
Master.
You were wrong to return here unarmed.
Not unarmed.
You think that lightsaber proves you a Jedi?
No. Facing you. Memories that have haunted me since Braca. I won't run from them anymore.
Then let us see what manner of death your courage brings.
All right, so Cal comes back to the temple, and we meet Jaro Tapal, or at least the manifestation of Jaro, which is also a manifestation of Cal's fears, I guess. Did we settle on what we think this is? I don't think they really described it, but that's what we're going with here. And this Jaro Tapal questions Cal's worthiness, which is what really stood in Cal's way the last time we were at the temple, because Cal was not at a place where he could kind of overcome and recognize his battles emotionally. So how did we feel about this Jaro fight? Or actually, before we get to the fight, let's talk about Jaro returning as a guardian, because I kind of wished there was another guardian. Like, there's so much trauma that Cal faced. I feel like Jaro shouldn't have necessarily been the first like guardian he saw, or maybe is the first, and then the next one should be the second sister. That fear of losing, or a manifestation of the second sister, like that fear of losing the hopes of rebuilding the Jedi Order.
I don't know. I at first I thought, is this a dark side vision? That's what I first thought, but I think you put it.
Maybe.
you put it better here as a guardian. I think it's maybe a guardian temple. It's a guardian of the temple that is trying to protect what's inside. And what it does is it probably shows you your biggest fears. So I don't think the second sister is as much of a
True.
fear to Cal as him regretting not saving his master. I think that's the thing that's heavily looming on him, is him not being the Jedi that he wants to be. And so this is kind of that manifestation of Yarrow in the flesh kind of meeting him right here. And how is he going to deal with that? And to be honest, in that cutscene that we just heard, he's very cool and calm while this happens. Like what we've seen from Cal, and I think we're going to see this until the rest of the game, is how much he grows as a person and a Jedi. And this is kind of the start of it.
Yeah, I agree. Cal is a lot more confident going in. And a lot of that has to do with his helps from the crew of the Mantis, his friends. And you have a moment here during this fight where you try to like beat Jarro down, and Jarro blocks Cal's saber. And then they're kind of forcing their way through. Jarro tries to attack you, and then you have an option to split your saber in order to block Jarro's attack. And Jarro's impressed by this. He loves it. Master T'Pol loves this. He's like, this is impressive, but is power the answer? And I think that's also a reoccurring theme that we've seen in the game where, what is Cal really going for? Is he just happy to be back in the fight, or has he grown from that? And that's where you see Cal kind of come up with this answer to Paul's question, and he puts his saber away, and that's the answer to it. And he allows Jarro to attack him, but Jarro stops. And then Cal explains that the loss of Jarro T'Pol and the other Jedi and all the pain that he went through is now a part of him. So that just really shows that growth that he's gone through. And Jarro just stops. The Guardian stops to let Cal through with the last message that persistence reveals the path. So how did you, this was a fairly quick enter the temple, no real battle ahead of it. Do you feel like this was worth it in the end to have this moment?
Definitely. I think it's a test. Like, you have to get into the temple as a test. And this is a test for Cal trying to pass that test, which is, what would a Jedi do? A Jedi wouldn't attack his former master. A Jedi would accept that his master is dead, and this is not his master. So what does he do? He lays down his weapon, and Yarrow comes to attack, and then obviously doesn't attack. And so he passes that test. I think the temple is trying. The temple, it is like a Jedi temple. It has the Force around it, right? You could feel the Force around it. So that's the test of a Jedi, and he passes with flying colors because he is not an aggressor. He is a pacifist, and he is finding a way to peacefully end this, whatever it is. And then Yarrow understands that, obviously, because he's the Guardian, and he's just trying to scare Cal, but Cal's not having any of it.
Yeah, and he just walks away. I think also it would have been a little bit confusing if it was more drawn out between the two of them, because then it makes it look like it isn't just like this vision or this guardian. As a sense, it looks like it may be Jarro T'Pol. But yeah, I guess it was good that they kept it short and sweet. I just kind of wanted a little bit more to the trial, but I mean, hey, we got Nightmare Ruins to continue through to. So we hear this echo as we're continuing through of the Night Sister Marin pre-Malachus. So before, or not pre-Malachus, or the early stages of her relationship with Malachus, when she really believed in this lie that he was selling, that he could help her people. And it seems like she's really warning of this place. I mean, it's called a nightmare ruin. Why are we going here? She seems a little bit scared, but I guess we shouldn't stay away because this is also the way to the Astrium. So we continue through and we meet a familiar face.
Marin, right? I'm Cal Kestis. What you were told about the Jedi was not true.
So you say. Cal. Malicos said many things too.
Terran Malicos might have been part of my order, but what he is now, have no idea. All I do know is having a lightsaber isn't what makes you a Jedi.
Then what does?
We were peacekeepers. We were betrayed by those we protected. Hunted down by the Empire. I might be one of the last of my kind.
I was only a child when they attacked. An armored warrior brandishing this descended upon us and cut down my people, my sisters, until I was left alone with the dead. Then Malicos came and promised me revenge if I shared our secrets with him in return.
I know what it's like to lose everything. And Malicos was wrong to use that against you. We don't have to be enemies.
So we see Marin in the flesh. It's kind of like the Echo kind of wished her into existence. And she's a lot less aggressive towards us, which is very interesting because I thought she would have killed us next time we stepped foot on Dathomir. How do you feel about like the sudden change of heart from her?
I don't know if it's a change of heart in terms of like Cal had told her the last time we were on Dathomir that the Jedi aren't bad. We didn't kill your sisters, whatever. Maybe he planted that seed into her. And then again, he's talking to her and, you know, doesn't attack her, just wants to talk to her. So clearly is showing that, hey, like, let's just talk it out. Maybe I can trust you if that's the case. So I think she is maybe like those doubts, those seeds of doubt in her head from trusting Malicos got into her head maybe. And now she's like, okay, let's hear this guy out and hear what he has to say. And then right there, he explains like, we were hunted down. We were peaceful. We weren't the people that killed your people. So maybe she listens. I don't know. But clearly she's letting Cal talk without, you know, throwing a horde of zombies after us.
I know, which is pretty nice. It's pretty nice not to be backed into a corner by zombies. I guess also it has to do with the fact that if you hear in the Echo, Malicos seems pretty sane. When we last saw Malicos, he was just going crazy. He kind of looked out of it like he was just absorbed with power. I don't think I would trust a guy like that.
You got all that from him?
Yes, I did. He was like
Wow.
all screamy and it was just like a lot. It was a lot.
Okay.
He was a lot. And I
Yes.
feel like Marin was kind of like on par with me. She was like, Malicos, that's kind of a lot. I feel like, you know, you lied a few times, but now I think we got to get you out of here. And I think that's why she's helping Cal as well. I'm more curious as to who slayed her people. We still aren't getting that answer.
This Malicos is my guess.
Yeah, oh, and your guess is it's Malicos?
Or it could be, I don't know, like we haven't seen much of the like Darth Maul. Like maybe Darth Maul killed everybody. I don't know.
But then why would he kill his own people? Like, I guess, yeah, Malicos makes sense. But like she saw him. Like she saw the person that slayed her people. She's like, he was carrying this. Like, wouldn't she put two and two together and
What
be
what were they carrying? Do you know? Do you remember?
The
what she said?
lightsaber, right? She's like,
But
oh,
what
the person
lightsaber
who
was it?
slayed. I don't know. I was hoping she would have said, but a purple one, and I'm like, oh, I know who that is. Or, you know, like
It was Camille
it would've
Salazar
been-
Hathaway with her
it was
purple
me.
lightsaber.
or a Mace Windu. I don't know. I was trying to figure it out. I'm really curious about that. I don't think we'll ever get the answer, but hey, I'm here for it. But I'm not here actually for Marin and how she just disappears. Like
Yes.
she'll be like, I'm watching. Bye.
Oh, I know. What is
Disappears
that
in
about?
smoke. That's like Big Brother, or in this case, Big Sister is always watching us. Marin is kind of being a little, I think she hung out with Malicos a little bit too much because she's creeping me out.
Well, I guess like we talked about, you know, she's not attacking us, so she doesn't trust us fully, but now she's watching us to see, okay, is this guy who he says he is? Let me just keep an eye on him for that. So I get it.
Okay, fine. Fair. We'll give her the benefit of the doubt. Okay. Now it seems like this is starting to set up a boss fight because after we speak to Marin, she does warn us that Malicus is up ahead. And
Whoa.
she said, right? And we're like, oh, dang. Well, we got to get this astrium crystal or this astrium stone. So who cares? And she's like, okay. How do you feel about that setup? Because I feel like he's not quite an established character. Like, we know him, but do I care enough about his character to be like, ooh, it's a Malicus fight is coming up?
That is like probably one of the biggest, like, or number one, or one of the biggest for me in terms of story development in this entire game. I don't know how far deep I want to get into this, but like you said, he is a character that we saw once when we were in Dathomir the first time, and now we're seeing again. And it seems like there's such a big backstory behind this guy, but I don't really know who he is. So I'm ready to fight him, but do I really care about his character is a whole nother story.
Yeah. Do you feel like at this point, like since the last time we saw him and now, because I agree with you, I do feel like I don't know if I care. Like, I do think I think I remember saying he's one of the more interesting characters because he has this, like, we're witnessing him like completely turning his back on the Jedi Order, but also like trying to justify his actions. So he's not fully bad, although he is. He's still going through that transition, which I find is interesting. But I don't think I care enough because we only saw him that once. Like, if we heard about him or like even just got something more about Malicus, I feel like I would care. So when I hear Marin say like, oh, Malicus is up ahead, I'm like, oh, bring him. Do you feel like you're ready to fight him based on his skills that he showed the last time? Or are you a bit like, oh, I wonder, like, is this going to be tough for you going into the battle? Do you feel like that? Any of those
Did he
feelings?
show skills last time?
I don't know.
I don't really even know what to expect.
He showed his scars, which scared me.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yes. But I mean, you've been
like,
scared of this guy since the beginning with his cloak. You didn't.
Yeah.
You said he was disheveled
Sketchy.
and didn't trust his long beard, I guess. I don't know. Am I ready to face him? Yes. I want to see what this guy has to offer because, again, I don't really know much about him. But after getting my new lightsaber power move, all I know is I'm ready to destroy anything that's in my path.
Nick's ready to F things up. I will say, because as you continue through the Nightmare Ruins towards your fight with Malicus, you actually see Malicus standing there and waiting for us. And this gave me huge, like, retro gaming vibes. Like, this is like classic, like, old school boss fight up ahead. There's an arena and you're seeing the boss, but you can't, and they're just walking in circles. But you're not quite there yet, so you're just watching them wait for you.
Oh, and right before where he is, you have to fight these enemies. But the the save point healing spot is right behind them. So I was so annoyed because they actually they took like quite a lot of like HP off of me. And then so I'd go back and then I fight them again. I'm like, oh, that's not enough. And so like maybe 6 times I went back to save, heal up. And then when I thought, okay, I didn't give up that much HP, then I fought Malicus. But it was annoying. I'm like, he's right there, and I see him over there.
Yeah.
But I have to fight these damn things.
I just ran right in. I was like, let's go.
Oh, you just ran past them.
Yeah, I was just like, let's go. So
Okay.
let's go. Let's go and fight this former Jedi Knight.
How Kestis?
Malicos.
Welcome home. Please begin your training. What in these ruins tempts you so much to risk death?
I could ask you the same thing.
There is power there, beyond Jedi understanding. Power I control. I would offer you the same thing.
Don't you understand? I'm not interested in power. I want to restore the Order.
Restore the Jedi Order. Oh, you poor fool. It's over! Jedi fell long before the Purge. We were stifled by tradition. Deafened by our past glories. Blinded by endless war.
Maybe. But it's never over, Malicos. We stand here now, the chance to learn, to rebuild from our mistakes.
Jedi learn. There's no future for them. Why can you not see that? It's time for something new. You and me. We could build something different. Something better.
I just realized I was calling him Malicos the whole time. It's Malicos, of course. But that just tells you I don't remember him. Or he's not that memorable because we only saw him once before. But here we are.
Yes. Great cutscene, though.
Yeah, it was actually a really good cutscene. We're about to fight Malicos. And they have this conversation, Cal and him have this conversation about being tempted by the ruins. And as soon as Malicos said that, I said the same thing Cal did. I'm like, well, I could ask you, why are you here? Why are you here protecting it? Like, I got all defensive. But it is that drive for power. And Malicos is trying to convince Cal that they're the same, that they both want this power. And Cal obviously admits, that he's actually striving towards restoring the Jedi Order, where Malicos says, there is no future. So I have to ask you, Nick, if we were really looking into the future years after this conflict, because we know it's going to be resolved, do you think that it is true that the Jedi Order could have a future? Because I do think about where you have the Chancellor starting to put those thoughts in Anakin's head about the Jedi Order really just being a government, they're no different. And I do think that he did make some great points. So with all that said, am I evil? Am I part of the dark side?
Oh my God.
Am I being, but with that said, do we think that people in this time across all these universes would still want to believe in something like the Jedi Order? Or would they just go past that?
The Jedi are, supposed to be innately good. However, I can understand people looking at them like a religion, where they kind of try to force their beliefs onto you. But I never got that sense in the prequels. It seemed like Jedi were noble and looked high upon, and it was only the Chancellor and some other people who kind of looked at them in bad light and wanted to do something about that.
You weren't listening to Senator Palpatine enough, obviously.
Well, I mean, he is a dark Jedi who's trying to kill everyone, so I don't know.
But everyone else didn't know this at the time, okay? I mean, he's pretty convincing. Anyways.
I just want to say, that cutscene right there, I didn't buy it. Especially, again, we talked about how Malicos, we have barely talked to Malicos this entire game, and he's already saying, join me, and we can create, and it's because we've barely met. We have no connection. And I'm already getting this speech from, every other dark Sith Lord in the entire world ever that is join me and we will create the most power in the world. And it's okay, but that would make sense if I knew Malicos a lot sooner, but I only have met you in passing and you're already trying to get me on your side. I was just I kind of rolled my eyes during that one.
Yeah, I rolled my eyes as well, which I feel like we'll talk about that in the last segment. But we do have this fight with Malicos that we have to actually, do. And he is all about the Jedi of guarding. This guy will guard. He will be on his deathbed and his sabers will still be up guarding. Guarding is his huge thing. It's very annoying. And usually what I do in this situation, I just wait for an opening. But after a lot of time waiting, I noticed that, oh no, you can't do this with him. You actually have to continue trying to get some strikes on him, continue with the offensive. Was that your tactic for this battle with Malicos? See, I'm doing it again. I don't care about him.
It's okay. Malachus, whatever it is.
Tomato. Yeah.
I think all of these Jedi fights have been tough in general. They haven't been, none of them have been cakewalks.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell that these are strong Jedis, and Cal is the lesser of the Jedi, and you need to, use your wits or smarts in order to fight these guys. But for me, it's very methodical in terms of the only way you end up beating him is by doing it a few times and getting the rhythms right, whether it's dodging his attacks, dodging his like force moves, and then parrying at the right times, deflecting at the right times, and then striking. Because you really can't just like go ham attack wise. You have to parry, you have to evade, you have to move a lot, which is annoying, but you have to time your attacks perfectly. And the only way to do that is by losing. So unfortunately, you have to die a few times. Again, unless you are incredible at this game and you know all the mechanics perfectly, but this takes some time. Fight it 5 or 6 times, and then you'll get a handle of how exactly to kill Malicos, which is, again, you parry at the right times, and then you attack.
Yeah.
And then you obviously watch out for a lot of his force moves, because your force moves don't do anything against him.
No.
Which makes sense. It's a little frustrating that like there's no power. Like the ninth sister, we could use a little bit of our force powers, but it seems like Malicos is stronger than that, so it doesn't work as well.
Yeah. Malicos is too strong for us. I will also compliment Malicos in his force powers, because that Jedi saber twirling thing he does, super cool. Would definitely be a move I would do if I were a Jedi or turning into a dark Sith. Like, that is so cool that you get to like baton twirl your lightsabers and like taunt your enemies. But yeah, I feel like I was right there with you. Just continue on the offensive, try to parry. Parry is better than dodging, I feel like. His attacks as well. But once you continue and knock him down enough, you'll be interrupted by this cutscene.
I was wrong to think you could stand with me! Die, world!
You have no right to Dathomir. No right to our magic. Get up, Cal Kestis. You're not dead yet.
And a new challenger has entered the arena. We have the Night Sister, who starts helping us out as Malicos is trying to squash us. I'm here for it. I'm here for having her as a part of our fight. My one question is,
yes,
what's a whelp?
No idea.
Because like,
no idea.
Why does Malicos say die, whelp?
It's got to be some sort of like,
or did he mean like die whelp? Die whelp.
It sounds, maybe it's like a Star Wars term where it's like, I don't know, like a mean thing to say.
Okay. Well, after, the Night Sister steps in, and after he says those nasty words, we continue on with the fight. He's going to change a few moves here. The main one will be he starts throwing his lightsabers. Also, really cool move. I mean, Malicos has the ratings of a really cool character I would have loved if only I had more time with him. But we don't. And the Night Sister steps in to help us out again.
What is this?
It's like you said, Malicos. Dathomir will be your grave. Let him lie in the dark with his secrets until death takes him.
Why'd you help me?
To rid Dathomir of that parasite.
Ooh, damn.
Now, to rid Dathomir of a parasite. Those are words to live by.
Yes.
That's definitely like, yeah, that's my goal, to rid Dathomir of parasites. Parasite. I like that. So the Night Sister crushes and just completely demolishes the fight, which I wasn't expecting. I thought she would have just held him down, but no, she seeks the most revenge on Malicos, so she takes that final blow. I appreciate that. And now apparently we're friends with her as well. I mean, we talked to her after this, and she reveals to us that, the reason why she's helping Cal is just obviously, like we heard there, for her own means. But do we really believe this? Do we feel like maybe she has taken a liking to Cal? Because that's how I feel.
I'm not going to say I don't trust her. I'm going to say on the record. On the record, I trust Marin. Also, how cool is just her involvement in the fight made the fight so much fun and better. Like, I was really like, while I was playing, I was like, damn, this is sick.
Yeah.
So it was really cool that she came in, but yes, I 100% trust her on the record for saying that. She helped us fight Malicos, helped us defeat Malicos, and so she garners a bit of definite trust from us.
I trust her as well. However, I do question some of the things she says. Like, how
Yes.
do you not know what the Empire is? How does she not know about the Empire at all? So after this fight, Cal continues to explain that he needs this Astrum Stone in order to get rid of the Empire. And she's like, what's the Empire? How?
If you've noticed in all of Dathomir, when we've gone through this planet, we haven't faced anyone from the Empire. So the Empire,
True.
I don't think, has ever visited Dathomir, and probably for good reason, because it is a planet that, you know, people have bad things to say about it. It's kind of a mess. It's scary. It's dark. It's got a lot of creatures that you can't trust or turn your back to. So I think the Empire hasn't visited there at all. And Marin, who is kind of mourning the death of her sisters and all of that, I think she has been oblivious to it all. And if the Empire doesn't show up on your planet and you have no information to know what the Empire is, then maybe you never knew it existed.
Oh, that's true. Yeah,
She didn't know what Jedi really were either, too, right?
that's
until,
true.
Until they destroyed or
people,
Malicos.
yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, destroyed her people. Yeah, that's true. Because I thought like maybe she would be communicating with people, but they seem like they're very to themselves, the Dathomirians, and that she wouldn't really ask about what the Empire is or get any knowledge of them. So that's interesting. Well, guess what? Cal did a good job because she's now in fear that the Empire will come to Dathomir, and she ends up helping us towards the Astrium.
I'm happy for you. And your Jedi. But nothing can bring back my people.
Yeah. After the purge, I was alone for a long time. In hiding, I was scared that they'd find out who I was or what I was.
What changed?
A very good friend of mine told me to go out and find my place in the galaxy.
And you listened.
Well, no. But life has this funny way of forcing you on the path forward anyway. Now here I am. Or at least expected.
A path forward. I will join you.
You will?
I've spent years waiting for a chance to avenge my sisters. I'm finished waiting. I wish to fight by your side. Night Sisters and Jedi do not travel together, but survivors. We adapt.
So Cal inspires Marin with this path forward. And now Marin is going to join us on the Mantis, apparently.
Hell yeah.
This is really cool. This late in the game that we're getting an added crew member to the Mantis. However, I don't know if I care about Marin. Is that just a me problem?
In terms of just our partnership on the show, yes. Because I'm the only one who can answer that question.
Yeah.
I really like Marin, and I got super excited when she wanted to join our crew. I think in the very short time we've gotten to know her, and especially the fight with Malicos and what she's told us about her people and her loyalty and her then wanting to become a part of this team. Like, that's a big leap all of a sudden to be like, I want to join you and help you. I trust you now, Cal Kestis. And like, to me, I'm like, that's really cool. I'm on board. And she's now really quickly becoming one of my favorite characters, especially in the crew so far. Definitely slots her place up to second in my book. So yeah, I'm all on the Merrin train.
Okay, fine. I'll give you that. She is pretty cool. She has cool powers. I just wish we could have like used her more.
For sure.
So now we head back to the Mantis, take out a few enemies, and that's pretty much it for the chapter and the return to Dathomir. After the break, we're going to just give you our final thoughts.
You found it.
Oh, well, who's this? What's that supposed to mean?
It means I'll be joining you.
Seer, Grease, this is Merrin.
She's a witch, isn't she?
A Night Sister. Your fear is unnecessary.
I couldn't have gotten the Astrium without her. We fought Malicos together. I trust her.
And we trust you. You will have to earn it.
Okay, fine. Grab some seed. She doesn't try anything funny.
Welcome aboard.
They like you.
And we trust, or Nick, trust Merrin as well. And that's all that matters. So that was it for the return of Dathomir. How did you find this chapter, this return to one? Actually, you said your favorite planet.
Was it? I don't even remember me saying that.
Well, okay, maybe not your favorite planet, but you were most looking forward to Dathomir when we first arrived.
Oh yeah.
Because,
see, I know you know what you're talking about. I physically don't remember me saying that. But yes, it lived up to it. Especially this was a short chapter because we pretty much just went to find the Astrium and fight Malicos. But all the cutscenes, there was a lot of it, and there was a lot of information. And then getting Merrin at the end was really cool. And she also adds to that whole thing that we talked about in the first segment, which is the team. And where do you think that what's her thing?
Like, what's her role?
Yes.
I think she would be like Mantis in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Okay.
Like, she's a little bit more serious than Mantis, but she's a little out there because she's never left her planet before. So I feel like she'd be like more curious or amazed at little things that everyone else is used to.
I think maybe she's a little bit Drax as well in terms of that kind of aspect. The sassiness or like the straightforwardness. She seems like she's blunt, and that's Drax as well, right? He does that in a comedic way, but she seems like that kind as well. But it seems like she would fit in really well. And she adds to that kind of space misfits, especially since she has no more family. They're all dead.
Exactly. They're dead. They died.
They
did. That's true. Okay, boss fight. There was a huge boss fight in this one. We kind of spoke a little bit about how we didn't really care for the lead up towards the boss. And I agree. I kind of felt, and I want to just briefly talk about this because I know we will in our final ratings review. I felt like the writing or like this part was a little rushed. And I don't know if you got that way. Like, I just felt the fact like, okay, now we're seeing Malicos again, and now it's like we're going to fight him. Is he really dead? I don't know. I hope so, because Merrin put him down into the ground, but I didn't really feel the effects of like defeat, like the achievement of that you would get from a boss that you maybe have better build up towards or like a better storyline with. And then even with Merrin joining us, I feel like we could have developed that relationship a little bit more. So I feel like now we may have been rushed through these moments.
I don't feel that way with Merrin. I think her explanation of everything and who she is as a character, I understand relatively quickly. It is the Malicos thing that really, again, like I enjoyed the fight, but it just seemed like this big, huge boss, this big, huge Jedi who we barely met, who has no part of this story, and now is all of a sudden on the forefront of it. Where it's like, join me, Cal. We can have power. Like, I didn't buy any of that from the hop. So to me, it just that part felt really rushed. If you wanted to establish Malicos, we should have seen glimpses of him throughout the game, and then it leads up to this moment. This again, it makes me feel like there was a part of this game that they just removed entirely. Maybe it was is on the cutting room floor where we were going to get more character development from Malicos, but it just didn't happen. And I've seen this like at the beginning of the game. I was hesitant at how they've developed Grease and Seer and all those characters. It also seemed rushed that we were together so quickly. But over time, it did pan out. But this one, I never really bought.
Yeah, neither did I. And to that point, I feel like Malicos was not memorable for this.
Agreed.
I feel like he had so much potential as a character. But I mean, who knows? He may not even be dead. Maybe he'll be back.
It's Star
Who
Wars.
knows?
He probably just has a few limbs torn off, and he'll come back with robot arms. It's okay.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Nick, anything else you want to add about this chapter?
Marin is my new favorite character in this game.
Okay.
Yes.
Good choice.
Yes.
Good choice.
Well,
I do
is
like
it?
Marin too.
Okay. You're on board.
No, I do like her. I guess I worded it wrong. I do like her. I just don't like how she's just now part of the group all of a sudden.
Gotcha.
Randomly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
There's lots of potential with her too. As the game winds down, it will take us back to Bogano next time on AutoSave. AutoSave is produced and hosted by Nick Andrade and myself, Camille Salazar-Hadaway. The show is also produced by Dylan Wilson. Gameplay and additional elements provided by Chris Zeiser. Technical production by Greg Fillion. Executive producer Clayton Hansler. You can follow the show at AutoSave Podcast on Twitter and AutoSave Pod on Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch. You can subscribe to the show wherever you're listening to it right now. And if it happens to be Apple Podcast, kindly leave us a rating and a review, but only if it's good. AutoSave is a Soda original hosted on the Soda Podcast Network.